Speaking of hearing voices in their head, could somebody please plant a seed in Donald Trump's head and tell that nigga that you lost? Somebody needs to let him know that he lost in every language known to man.
Don't
That's
say it's
Chinese,
over.
Japanese, Korean, British, African, Australian, down under, up over, in between and behind. Nigga, you lost. You need to roll.
Slovakian.
So outside of that, my week has been very trying with the pandemic. The numbers are crazy, y'all. Please be careful. If you have not invested in Lysol, please do, because I spray everybody because I believe that it works. In fact, I sprayed Nicholas this morning. I didn't spray the producer or the cameraman, but the show ain't over yet. Shit.
Well, you've been saying it's been a trying week. What do you mean it's been a trying week?
This has been a very trying week for me. I have a wayward 17-year-old daughter whose baby sister is watching the things that she's doing because she's waiting to try to pull up the test to see if she can get away with it. So I have a 17-year-old daughter that was been dating a guy, and I thought he was 18 because that is what she told me. Come to find out that he's 21. I hit the ceiling. Baby, the shit hit the fan. And we just been feuding back and forth. But I'm going to tell y'all that this is my baby. And she was very miserable in the house. It just made it a toxic environment. So I bent a little. I bent my own rules for the sanity and safety of my daughter because she was talking crazy and I wasn't ready to deal with that.
You bent your own rules, meaning you did what?
I allowed her to still have a friendship, relationship with this man. Because I didn't see the other. The other alternative was to let her go and live with her mom, which is an extremely toxic environment. So I was like, at least I can eyeball you here and keep an eye on what's going on because, I've been a single parent a long time, as opposed to sending you somewhere where I can't see you. You at a stranger's house, and I don't know what's going on. And I'm a control freak, so I need to know what's going on.
I think it's also important to mention, too, that you do have extremely responsible children. Who are engaged, who are aware, who are very informed on their own social, mental, and physical health. So that does play a role in you feeling better about the decision you're making to give her a little latitude, right?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The nigga and me wanted to punch the shit out the little young man. Let's be. This is laugh and learn.
Elevated.
No. This is what we do. So let's talk about how I really feel. That I felt defeated as a parent because as her dad, and she's still my daughter. See, let me tell you the sexist part of it. As a man, if it was my son smashing all the little 18, 19, 20-year-old girls, I'd be walking around here like a proud peacock. But it's not. It's my daughter. And I don't want to think about her passing out her nookie and her cookie to every Tom, Dick, and hooky. So, yeah, it sits differently. But it still does not sit well because he is a man and she is my baby. So, yes, I know she's responsible. And like I told her, I know you. I don't know him. I know you. I know who I raised. I know what I've taught you. But, baby, let me tell you something. When a man get a control of a woman's heart and her mind, pussy is just a side piece. That ain't nothing. That's just the good sex. He got you here. Baby, if he got my daughter here and here, what would he not having her do? So I intervened and we had a talk, all three of us. Can y'all believe that I sat down and was calm? I did because I wanted my daughter to remain happy. She's a great kid. She's going to be a great woman.
Right.
I see her great future. Right now, we just got some speed bumps in the road.
And I think that's what I keep going back to because clearly, I know her in a very different capacity. And I see this mature, young, strong-willed woman, absolutely. But I don't see someone who is not informed and not aware. And I guess that's what makes me feel more comfortable about you giving her just a little bit of latitude.
Spoken from a person who has absolutely no children. Because guess what? When they're a child, they still a child. See, we can say that we raised them right. They went to the best schools ever. They did all of this. They still a kid. They still have kid shit that happens, kid issues. She's still a kid. I'm still a regular dude up under here. I wanted to throw her ass out the window the other week. Without opening the window. Let me just say, I didn't even want to open the window. I just wanted to push her ass straight through. But hey, this is where we are. And in the midst of all this, we still in a pandemic. I had to pop my fan on y'all.
So you were talking about, you believe the pandemic played a role even in this?
I think the pandemic has played a role in not only my child's life, but so many people's lives. Not just children, but everybody, because you are so contained. We are contained. My daughter feels like if she's in her senior year of high school, You know, we are finally at a financial plateau where we can then really sit back and enjoy some of the fruits of my labor
That you never had growing
that
up.
I never had growing up,
Yeah, yeah.
and that she didn't even have the first 2.5 years of school, because until Tiffany came with They Ready, it was always a hustle and a struggle. It's a different struggle now, but it's still a hustle.
Right.
You know, and so she can't enjoy being a senior. The dances, the parties, the prom, none of that, because, you know, and I tell my children, y'all didn't fail the school or the world. The world failed y'all. The world has failed all of us, because we are stuck in a situation that, had this administration had just a tiny bit more care, showed some point of care, we might not be in this situation. That was not going to stop the pandemic.
Right.
But it could have been handled better. But I'm glad he didn't handle it better, because the fear is, had he handled it with a little more care, this nigga would have won.
For the sake of those who may be joining us for the first time, I think it's important to mention, too, that you have 3 children, and you were just talking about the effects of the pandemic. I think it's also important to mention how they still continue to thrive academically, though. So there has been a bit of, were those tools not in place? Were they not already academically sound? You and I had a conversation about the youngest one, and I said to you, just completely as an aside, I said, because we started talking about a nail file, you guys, and it's actually called a nail drill, the thing that rolls across the fingertip. And she was just so engaged in talking about it. And the reason it stood out for me is because it was clear she wasn't shy. She's comfortable talking. She said, "No, Nicholas, it's a drill." And the way it wasn't like, "Well, Nicholas is older, he must be right." She's like, "No, it's a drill. You need to look it up." And I just thought I just loved that sense of confidence in this young girl. And I think that that's important.
Well, but it's still like, I raised my other daughter the exact same way. She still went left because of teenage hormones. A girl. I'm a female impersonator. I think I'm a girl like right now, but if I get excited, yeah, all that girl shit go out the window. I'm letting y'all know now, it's just gone. Yeah, all that, you're going to get wet. Definitely not wet, but hard as a motherfucker, but definitely not wet.
Right, this is what I'm talking about. I think that people sometimes see you one way and they don't know you the other, and they sit there and say, "What is flame like? What is the real flame like?"
Right here with a wig on. So let's talk about the seriousness of the work, because you travel. You're my friend. I've been knowing. So Nick and I've been knowing for 30 years, y'all. We did a whole lot of shit together. We're back in the day. Nothing like that. But yeah, we know each other a long time. And did you travel safely? Did you? Because, you know, I spray, look at y'all see my little bitty can of Lysol? I take it with me everywhere I go in my purse, because I spray everybody.
And did you tell them how you sprayed me before I walked into the house yesterday?
Oh, yeah. And people say, "Flame, it doesn't work. It doesn't work." I have had 2 girlfriends who just tested positive this past week with COVID-19. And they thought I was joking when I was spraying everybody with Lysol. And I don't spray you like I'm spraying you in your face, but I spray a mist over you, because on the can and before you could find it, they said that Lysol killed COVID-19.
Germs. There you go.
I'm killing COVID. I'm not bleaching you. I'm not injecting you with no
bleach.
No bleach.
But remember, it'll just go away. So why are you worried about it? It's going to go away.
I wish
like
he would just go away so Biden and Harris can take their place as the president and the vice president of the United States.
That sounds like a great place to kind of jump on in here and open this up to some of these flame mess just to see what they talk about.
They want to hear.
I love that.
Who I want to talk to? We on the first episode of let me go straight Latino, because I don't want y'all to think that all I got is black fans. I got them overseas and everything. I'm going straight Latina. Latina paging Justine.
Hi.
Good morning, my beautiful lady. How are you?
Good morning, and congratulations on the show. It's wonderful.
Thank you for being part of the show, Justine. Y'all made this show popular. Y'all made this show.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. I haven't been able to find my purse-sized Lysol, but I'm still looking for it.
As soon as I know that we lock back down, I'm going to put them on Flame Bay, not eBay, on Flame Bay, and sell for $100 a can, the little purse size ones. It's a hustle. I just told you, it's still a hustle. It might not be a struggle, but it's a hustle. Justine,
I don't blame you.
I want to ask you a question about the march in Washington that's going on with supposedly so many Trump supporters and Proud Boys, because I don't think that there's a lot of Republicans out there. I don't want to give the Republicans a bad name to say, because there are good Republicans. This is not about partisanship. This is truly about the racists in this country. Did you see the protests out there? Did you see? They said they wanted to they projected 1 million, but they only asked for how many, Nicholas, for the pen?
100 something.
The
Yeah.
10,000. No,
10,000.
I think they asked for like
The
a
Park
10.
Services reported about 11,000.
Yeah, so but
the Park
there's no
Services.
million. So the support that he has truly is he got 73 million votes. So he has a great support team in this country. They're just not out there at 1,600 Lives Matter way. What do you think about them out there with all of that?
You know what? I honestly think they're putting people at risk, not just themselves, but the essential workers and the police department, the fire department, the hospitals are 90% capacity. Our numbers here in Illinois are above 11%. I believe the governor may need to shut our state down, and that's because people aren't doing their part. This maskless march that they had in Washington, D.C. made no sense to me. It made no sense to me. How you don't think it's real, but you're putting other people at risk. And it's just, the economy won't get back together if we don't all do our part. It's not about your rights or my rights. It's about us pulling together. And you're right, not everybody that's Republican is racist. I had a friend who voted for Trump the first time, and I said, oh, okay. And then, but after that, when it came closer to this election, I didn't hear hide or anything. Not a peep. Not a peep.
Justine, so you say you're in Chicago. Mayor
Yes.
Lori Lightfoot. Hi, Lori Lightfoot. Y'all wait to get a lesbian mayor after I leave Chicago. I think that's very shady. Let me say that. But I love that Lori Lightfoot stands on what she believes in, and she don't care what nobody say. That lady gonna make up her mind, and she will shut it down.
And she's struggling. She's struggling because whatever she does, there's always going to be somebody who complains. You're not going to make everybody happy. You're not going to make everybody happy. And she's not going to make everybody happy. But the thing is, the numbers are going up because people are not doing their part. Restaurants are over capacity. They're trying to crack that down, and people are still doing what they want. They're not cooperating. They're not doing their part. They're not masking up. They're not watching, where they go. Like, okay, this place is crowded. I just got to come back.
Well, Justine, we just want you to be safe, and thank you for following here on Laugh and Learn. We appreciate you.
Thank
Nick,
you
say
so
hi
much.
to Justine.
Justine, I've got one more question for you
Nick.
before I let you go. I want to ask you, what do you think about that? Because restaurants are trying to make it, right? We know that they're struggling. So what should they be doing? Europe did it the other way around. They closed all restaurants and bars, but they sent kids back to school. So they've had their numbers kind of go down. Do you think we should have done it that way? Or what are you thinking?
You see, what I think is that, well, not everybody would have followed that because no matter who it came from, if it was Trump or a different president, there were always going to be somebody who has a complaint about it. But if we had leadership from the top down, pay restaurants to have their staff there and feed those in need, first responders, essential workers, but we were actually feeding. Because we put a shelter-in-place order. If we had the funds to pay the restaurant owners and the staff to cook for the needy, we'd be fine. We'd be in a better position.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Justine. Listen, next time you out with somebody and they don't have a mask on, I'm giving you the right and the privilege to go get you a bottle of Lysol bleach right out the Lysol aisle and open that bleach up and throw bleach all over the air. The president, when he was the president, because nigga, you lost. When he was the president, said put bleach and UV lights on. They already in the grocery store. Get you some Clorox, not just any bleach. It has to be Clorox. Throw it on their ass.
Yes.
It's going to save their life, your life, their children's life, generational life. Throw some bleach on there. Don't do that for real. I'm just... Girl, don't you do that for real. You might get whooped and I won't be there.
No.
Bye, Justine.
No.
Thank you, love.
Bye. And can I say something else real quick to Nick? Because I know we're short on time. I got to be nice. Nick, thank you so much for serving. I hope you got my messages, and I appreciate you doing the 22 push-ups for the 22 service members, veterans that take their lives every day. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I saw those posts, and I thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
It means a lot. It means a lot. Don't think that I didn't see it because I did, and it means a lot.
Hey, I appreciate that, Justine. Thank you so much. Love you, sending love, and thank you so much for the support.
And love you too, Nick. Thank you. Love you, Flame.
Bye,
always.
Justine.
I'm your ride or die.
I know that.
I'm your ride or die.
I know that.
Let
me tell you something. Let me tell you something. What she didn't know, he's doing 22 push-ups a day, but he eats like 20 pieces of chicken a day. So technically, it kind of balanced the fuck out.
Balances out.
Let me just be honest. I've seen him do the push-ups. I've also seen him push that chicken up to his mouth. Yeah, I'm gonna say what I got to say.
You're like repeatedly. Justine's talking about the flame. As you know, we were doing the 22 push-ups for 22 days,
right?
Because part of the message behind that is that. It's estimated that 22 service members commit suicide every day. So the idea is to raise awareness, and this is a perfect opportunity to let people know that if you know someone who may be suffering, that there is help available. You don't have to suffer alone.
Lots of people are suffering right now, Nicholas. And as far as the lockdown goes, I do think that they should lock us back down. But before you lock us down, please take care of the people.
Yeah.
People need a stimulus check. People need money. They need food in their house. They need to be comfortable and not worry about a landlord banging on their door or shutting off their power or locking them out of their own place. If people need help now and then lock it down and fix whatever y'all need to fix. Because I know the vaccine they say is coming and y'all can have it. I don't take a flu shot. The only chip you're going to put in me better be a Dorito or potato chip because you're not chipping nothing in me. I don't even bottom, so you ain't putting shit in me. I'm just letting you know.
Period.
At all. Yeah, that's what kind of that's what kind of day we're having.
I love that. You were excited about today, though.
I'm very excited about today. Baby, let me tell you something. Tribble is here. Kendall is here.
Who are Tribble and Kendall, for those who
is the producer of the show. Kendall is our fabulous cameraman. My Nick is here. I'm here. And now James is here with all the hair out. Hello, James.
All the hair. How are you?
So James is our resident white boy that like the black girl magic. Kind of like that Prince Harry thing. You know, you, him, Robert De Niro, George Lucas, all y'all. Mayor Daley from Chicago. Y'all know what that black girl magic do.
Just sharing all my business.
Well, hello, James. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Welcome to the very first. Welcome to the very first Laugh and Learn. If you don't know who James is, James is the manager at DC Comedy Loft in Washington, D.C. So you right there on the ground level, James. What y'all looking like over there with that protest?
Well, I mean, we had 24 arrests, 1 stabbing, and 4 police officers injured last night. It seems by yesterday it all mostly dissipated. Where really the only stuff we saw yesterday were some older middle-aged white women going to Black Lives Matter Plaza and trying to rip down banners and signs honoring those who have passed.
On older middle-aged white women, which means that they're not going to get smashed by a black man because you know a black man is smashing a white bitch quickly. Let me just say it out loud and publicly. Secondly, they all left because the Black Friday sales is starting like today, so they have to get home so they can order from Black Friday. Don't be that mad at Black, but you want to order on Black Friday. I'm just saying shit. James, I'm glad you're safe there in D.C. So were they only on Black Lives Matter Way or were they in other places?
So it started in Freedom Plaza. Basically, most of the protests were over by the National Mall, Freedom Plaza, all the way over to the Supreme Court. How they made their way over to Black Lives Matter, I'm not 100% sure. According to the Washington Post, there was basically 2 different protests and counter-protests that were going on parallel streets. And somehow over towards that area, they kind of got combined, and there were some fist fights and things like that. Nothing crazy that some people were anticipating, but still people got hurt. A lot of the damage apparently stemmed from the Proud Boys being in town because they're the ones who also stabbed a reporter. So,
now, wait a minute. Let me ask a question to my partner, Nick. So the Proud Boys, isn't the president of the Proud Boys the one that publicly stuck a dildo up his ass on camera? No, seriously.
That has been alleged, yes, but that was to prove
that was not an alleged dildo up his ass. That was a real dildo. It was not alleged. I saw the video.
But just to be clear, it was done as an act of defiance, not as in one of submission.
James, so if you mad at another man, you gonna stick a dildo up your ass? I'm just saying, you a regular straight man. I just want to know because it don't sound feasible.
How a lot of their reasoning is just it doesn't equate to reality. He was trying to prove that he's not anti-LGBTQ by sticking. I
wonder did he use lube? I wonder did he use lube or Proud Boy spit? I said what I said. The pandemic is out of control, and I know that the club, because you work at the club and the club is shut down. Realistically, what y'all looking like as far as opening? Because it seems like we're going backwards instead of forward.
We are. I mean, Maryland and Virginia both have gone down to shutting down. So even the entire DMV area is shut down as of today, which is Monday. And I mean, I'm realistically, it's probably going to be April when we see more of the vaccines out, because that's not that the vaccines are necessarily going to protect everybody, but it's going to give a lot of people a false sense of security at that point.
And I think, too, James, help me here, but I think the idea behind that vaccine is to first inoculate frontline workers, correct? Like service providers and those who are like on the front lines, because I believe that there are places like, isn't it North Dakota, that we just saw that there are people who have tested positive that they've asked to go back into the hospitals because they're the only medical staff available, even though, oh, yeah, I've been exposed to the virus, but I'm going to go back to work because they just don't have the resources available to work without that staff.
Yeah, but that's what the news release was, is that it would be available to frontline workers, then at risk, and then the population at large. What the catch is that they were saying they were going to have 10 million of Moderna out.
Yeah.
But the catch is that each one of those vaccines has to be used twice on the same person. So really, you're only inoculating half the amount of people that you're seeing doses for.
That, James, and I understand too. I think part of the challenge is this: the vaccine itself has to be like stored at some type of sub-zero temperature that many areas that need it most don't have the ability to transport safely this vaccine.
Yeah, the Pfizer one has to be held in extreme cold temperatures. The Moderna one apparently just needs to be refrigerated. But like I said, that one has so few doses in comparison to what's needed that I don't know, other than just trying to get it out to meet Operation Warp Speed and get their money from the government. I don't see how that's necessarily helpful in the short term.
All of that is enough for me. Let me tell you something right now, right here, out loud and publicly. I ain't taking shit. Vaccine your ass. I'm not doing it. I don't trust it. From day one, I have not trusted Dr. Fauci. Be mad at me if you want to. You know I don't give a fuck. Dr. Fauci, if you do your research on Fauci, Fauci was part of Ronald Reagan's team with the whole AIDS epidemic, and I lost a lot of girlfriends to AZT because that nigga was pushing AZT. This bullshit. That Bill and Melinda Gates with that whole chippity chip. If it ain't a Dorito, you ain't chipping me. Bill Gates, if you want me to take a vaccine, the same needle with the medication, you take half and then give me the other half with that same needle. Because nigga, after you give it to your wife and your kids, because I know you won't do nothing to harm them. That's the only way I'm going to take it. You ain't giving me nothing. My kid, you think I want a third eye here and another arm going out the back of my forehead? Y'all take that vaccine if you want to. You be shaking hands like this.
You know, unfortunately, like James, and help me here, this is not the first time you've heard people mention that they have reservations about possibly taking a vaccine when one becomes available.
I mean, we already had a growing movement in the U.S. of anti-vaxxers in the beginning. Plus, we have condensed a process that takes 5 to 15 years into a 9-month period. So we really don't know what any of the long-term or even really short-term side effects are going to be, other than what we've seen in testing, which is still a small portion of the overall population. It's 40,000 people.
It's true, James, and I'm telling you, it's scary, and it's very scary, especially if you don't take the time to research, if you're uninformed. And I do think that they're going to come up with some whole plan where you can't travel, you can't work, you can't get assistance, you can't if you don't get chipped or if you don't get vaccinated. I will be the poorest, homeless, living in a tent up under the freeway bitch you ever seen. But understand about the people who homeless and live in tents on the freeway. They're not catching COVID and they're not dying from it. Now, you make that make sense to me. Maybe I need a tent. Fuck a house. I need a tent.
And just to give us something else to think about, literally just popped up on my feed there. CBS News just released that Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine distribution will be a logistical nightmare. The long wait for a vaccine that could eventually spell the end of the coronavirus pandemic appears to be on the horizon. But last week, Pfizer said his vaccine has been 90% effective preventing COVID. But the problem is shipping millions of doses around the world.
Mm-hmm. Let me tell you something.
That's been the issue from the beginning, is it has to be held in such extreme temperatures, and not a lot of places have that kind of setup.
Let me speak to my poor folks out there like myself. If you poor and you can't get the vaccine because they can't get the freezing weather, here you go right here, baby. Spray Lysol every day, all day, in people, on people, around people, and everything. Lysol kills the COVID. I believe it.
I love that.
Thank you, my James. I love
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for
I
joining
love you
us
too.
today. James is straight. You know all the women be at James.
You know, talking about James there, you and I have talked about this off camera. I got a chance to work with some of James's people last year when you actually performed at the Comedy Loft.
Yes.
Yes, and it was just a fantastic room. But James is also one of those people that we were talking about where we need a stimulus because businesses like his are suffering right now when you have restrictions in place on capacity and people going out. You had, 300 odd some people fill that room because we were above capacity. Before.
I was about to say you telling on them because you know they went over capacity with me.
You're like, see, there you go,
So
talking
you
too much.
can't tell Nicholas shit. You see how he just blew that cover?
But those are the good old days. It was a lot of fun.
It was fun. It was fun. And I miss it. And so many comics are struggling behind that because doing Zoom and doing this. So thank God that we got the podcast, because it's still work. And it gives me a chance to speak to people, even though I was going live pretty much every day to speak to the people. But it's just strange for everyone. And all of this comes from what James and Miss just said. It comes from the administration. They didn't handle none of this correctly. Right now, he has lost. The pandemic is still not the most important thing on his plateau. He's still golfing and waving at his protesters. You're done. It's over.
So how do we move on? Because comics like you still need to perform, not just you, but we saw that even when we tried to do the safe social distancing, Dave was doing that at his home, and people were going out. They were doing the rapid test before they went in, and even still, he had to shut it down because somebody on the crew. And then we just saw the same thing happen with the team from Real Housewives of Atlanta. So we know that we're going to have to do something if we want things to return to any kind of semblance of normalcy that we had before.
Sadly, it took a pandemic and 200,000+ lives for people to just really wash your hands and practice social distancing. Because let me tell y'all something about washing y'all hands. This must be some new shit for y'all. Because I am able to use the men's and the women's bathroom. And I'm going to tell you right now that in my experience, the ladies' bathroom is always nastier than the men's. And I have seen some of you women come out of that stall after being in there and stanking it up for about 40 minutes, come out and fluff your hair and roll up, pat your nose and roll up out. I ain't said shit about washing your hands. I've seen more men do that now. Roll up out the stall after blowing it out, just walk out the door and go, oh, hi, buddy, how are you? Shaking hand. So you have to practice your hands. The social distance, y'all should know to wear a mask. The reason people do not want to wear a mask is because people do not want to be told what to do. I believe that. Don't tell me what to do. Mm-hmm. That's across the board, all nationalities. But it's saving somebody else's life besides your own. Outside of that, I don't know what we're going to do. I'm telling y'all right now, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to keep washing my hands, and I'm going to keep spraying every bitch that come my way. And if you don't want to be around me and get sprayed, then don't come around me because I don't care who. You can be my mama. I spray her ass.
Not Miss Valor.
I spray the shit out of her. I like to spray her a couple of times now. She can get on my damn nerve. So you spray everybody, baby. It works. And I don't think that it's disrespectful because I'm letting you know in the gate. You want to come in my house, you must be sprayed.
Don't say must be sprayed. You know, you almost sound like Bob Barker. It goes from spayed and neutered to you must be sprayed.
The difference between me and Bob Barker is he was spraying all those women on the show. He was fucking all of them. Well, in order to get the job, you had to lay with Bob. I'm just saying, in order to get the job, you had to lay with Bob. Period.
Oh my God!
Am I lying?
Allegedly.
It wasn't alleged. All them bitches. Janice was his favorite because she kept her job the longest.
Janice actually got a chance to get her 401k and retirement plan. She actually did. Janice was there for a minute for sure.
Janice might have been the setup bitch like that Giuliani for what's his name that they said was the Epstein. Yeah, you know.
Yes, I'm having a very like
Giuliani.
Yes,
the bitch in jail, y'all. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Ghislaine Guillain. Come on.
If you can't remember her name, remember this.
407-3146
because the bitch got a number because she's in jail. Hello, my Mark. You're so handsome. This is my baby daddy, y'all.
Hi, everybody. Congratulations on today.
Thank you.
Big day.
Congratulations on putting the shirt on because you know you never have a shirt on. So thank you for putting the shirt on for the people.
I did put it on. I had it on my chair waiting. So,
Marky Mark, you are in Florida and y'all numbers are real bad. And I know that because you know I'm a Gilliam fan. I'm still a Gilliam fan. The nigga got caught with his pants down, for real. But I'm still a Gilliam fan. Y'all got DeSantis over there who done just messed y'all state up. What y'all gonna do to get rid of this fool? This Trump, because that's the Trumpism, right? That's what they call it, Trumpism. Is that right, Nicholas?
Trumpian.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Trump. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, honestly, in my area and people I talk to, um, COVID, um, they're not faulting him for it, and they're not upset about his response. There are people who are upset about his response, but as I've talked about on here, these are the same people who are going out and partying and going to clubs and going inside to eat with people outside of their home. So I think there's so much hypocrisy, and this has become so political that you're really, if you're a Republican, you're going to love DeSantis. If you're a Democrat, you're going to hate him, and you're going to say that he did a horrible job with COVID, say he did a decent job by keeping the economy open. So it's really become political, which is unfortunate. But like I told you, I'm not looking at the numbers anymore because I have the common sense, the respect to wear a mask. It's not hard. It's not even an inconvenience to go in somewhere for 10 minutes to go grocery shopping and wear a mask and protect people around me. So really, the numbers is not going to change how I'm living my life or what precautions I'm taking. But it is scary how bad it's getting. I shouldn't say scary. It's sad. You know, for me, it's not scary because of my age and I'm healthy. But there are people who do have pre-existing conditions and who do have to be very careful when it
But wait on that age thing, cause Nicholas has a
comes to
friend.
this. So that's the sad part. You
Hold
know.
on, Marky, because Nicholas has a friend who's extremely healthy and lives healthy. I talked about him on live before,
Yeah.
and he just tested positive for
Tested
COVID.
positive for COVID, and as now in like day 9 of trying to recover and see where he stands, and unfortunately just suffered a loss too. Lost his mom this weekend, and is now in a weird position of, like so many have found themselves, can't go to bury and participate in his mother's, final days, as his brother will be there, and it's just a tough time. Responsibly he cannot be there. Responsibly, they cannot grieve the loss of his mother. Responsibly, this is someone who wore a mask, lived in Atlanta, educated, ate well, blah blah blah. COVID said, fine, I'll have a seat to your left then instead of the right. So it just
But how do you recover not being able to go to your mother's funeral? That right there, that will sit in your DNA and your spirit for the rest of your life. I'm sure.
That's why when I say that's the sad part about it. It's because there are so many people, and remember early on there were so many deaths and we weren't necessarily as prepared or expecting them, and people's bodies were going in trucks that were coolers, and that is the sad part for people who have to live through that. And we could do so much better if, as Americans, like you said, people don't want to be told what to do here. And that's really what it is. It's not even that it's an inconvenience wearing the mask. It's that people want to make a point that I'm an American and this is the land of the quote free. And I'm not going to let the government tell me what to do because I don't have to. That's the mentality that a lot of people are having. And that's the dangerous part.
Mark, do you think that maybe we missed the boat? I'm reading now an article from CNN. This is from today's CNN, and an article by Harry Enston. I want to give him a shout out. He says that, in it, he writes how the coronavirus outbreak got lost in the news shuffle during the last month because of the election. And a new Gallup poll finds that just 49% of Americans say that they would shelter in place if public health officials recommended it because of a coronavirus outbreak. And that's down from 67% who said that they would do that late in March. Did we miss the window to get people on board?
I do think the window was missed, but I think the handling, there's a couple of things. I think the misunderstanding of the virus was one. I think the mixed messaging from the Dr. Fauci's, instead of Dr. Fauci being transparent and saying, hey, please don't go buy all of these masks until we get, PPE for all of our frontline workers. If they were transparent from the beginning and we were sort of felt that the government and everybody involved was being honest, and we had an honest conversation, I believe from the beginning we could have done some sort of shutdown and everyone would have been somewhat okay with it. We would have had the stimulus package going out and we would have been able to somewhat get it under control. But I do think now, because it's been so politicized, and then you have people going back on their words, you have the Trump administration being so reckless and careless and using this politically on really both sides. I think we totally missed it. And now it's, if I'm a Republican or if I'm a Democrat, I see it this way. And now it's just a political weapon, which is unfortunate, because really this shouldn't be a political thing, because it's affecting everybody regardless of your politics.
That's
you know?
the truth. Or your money, or your stature,
Right.
or your color, or
Correct.
your size, or your age. So Marky is our
As you-
young resident, 24-year-old. Mark, y'all, is he's the Meghan McCain of the show. He's Meghan McCain with a penis.
Stop.
Yeah.
This is not true. This is somewhat true. No,
I'm
but
gonna
you're right.
def-
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about your finances, because Mike's second family, they have a large ophthalmology practice, and they had to shut down their entire practice, and for over a month. And there were employees infected by that, and so it really doesn't matter your financial background. This virus will come, and it's going to impact you one way or another. So again, if we all did our part and wear our mask, it would be something completely different. And
Mark,
yes, Lysol.
I'm going to jump on that and echo that with you. We have, Flame and I have several friends who own businesses, many of whom are restaurateurs. And I know for a fact that they have found it challenging to somehow operate in a pandemic, changing what used to be dine-in, high-end dining into now we're to go. And then the nerve of me expecting that to-go meal to taste the same as when I sit in the restaurant, and when it isn't, I jump on Yelp and ubiquitous, the hypothetical we.
He would go straight to food. I'm just saying, y'all.
Well, I think that's the common thread for everybody, because folks still need to eat.
And that's the interesting part, is that this virus is causing so many different businesses and industries, because this isn't going anywhere anytime soon. And so either initially they were, not to say smart, but they were prepared and they restructured their business from the beginning to sort of conform to this new way of living, or they're now having to think about, how do I see my business operating for the next year? And that's where I really think we should have more resources from the government. And mind you, I'm someone who's anti-government. I don't like government dependency, but with a situation like this, we should, besides just
Don't be
giving
messing with my
money-
EBT. Come up off my EBT. Wait a minute. First of all, let's go back to that. Don't be fucking with my EBT. Baby, look, my link, my EBT, whatever state you in and they call it, don't be messing with my scams.
This is
Look at
not
you.
about the EBT. But I do think businesses should have more resources to structure and sort of conform to this new way, so that way they can operate. And like Nick was saying, even if it's switching to this new grab and go model, where the sort of, and on our part, the expectation isn't to have this excellent service and experience and food tasting the same way. And for me, even, I have been very I would say intentional about supporting my small businesses in the area. So making sure that I am ordering takeout.
Well, everybody don't
several
have
times a
that. Everybody not balling like you, Mr. Marky Mark.
I listen.
I'm not
I
even high
understand.
end. Like, you look at the refrigerator. I don't have a big silver refrigerator. My refrigerator is white. It ain't even white anymore. It's beige. Kind
My
of like
point
Lil
is,
Kim. It's beige.
There's other things that you're doing, though, to support Black businesses, small businesses, and as whatever I'm doing within my means. My point.
The biggest Black business I'm supporting right now is the movement of he, she, we. Everything else is secondary shit. I love you,
Amen.
Mark, with your handsome self.
Bye.
Bye,
Love you
darling.
guys.
Thank you, Marky Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Nicholas, I understand what Mark is saying, but it's just so many people. When I see those lines, you know how they have the long lines for people to get the pandemic test? They have long lines like that here and in Florida for people to get food. And a lot of these kids that are not going to school, that was the only meals that they had.
Absolutely.
Was at school. So now school, and this make sense to me. Y'all opening restaurants, and we live in Southern California. I understand you can't do this in every state, especially the cold climate states. But y'all opening restaurants for outside entertainment. Y'all opening the shows that you can sit outside, but you're not opening the classrooms where we can sit outside and our children can learn because it's outside. Oh, they're not making any money like that. I blame Betsy DeVos for that, because why would you establishments? They're building like little tents
Tents,
and everything for feed people outside. Build tents for these kids to go back to school.
That's one of the arguments that was mentioned in the article that I was, cited earlier, is how Europe made the choice to, during their lockdown, they said, we can build outside classrooms. It is easier for us to, because there is some truth in the fact that children don't spread the virus the same way adults do. So it was safer for them to have children in school, not disrupting that structure, while they closed businesses like bars, pubs, sporting events that gathered large numbers of older people who might be more susceptible to either contracting or spreading the virus. So their model was to indeed kind of flip what we did here, and that was to have children continue to learn and have their.
So I'm pretty much a genius because I live with 3 kids. Oh, so I won't catch it.
You shouldn't. Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, hello,
Hello.
my gorgeous TT
Hello,
Jan.
hello.
Let me introduce you all on this Laugh and Learn to who TT Jan is. TT Jan is every auntie that you've ever wanted to have that will box you in. TT Jan will multiply, add, divide, and subtract anything that you need to know, and then slide you a 20 and say, don't tell your mom I gave you this 20. She's that auntie.
She's that auntie.
She's that auntie Nicholas. Hey, Jan.
Hey, everybody.
Well-
I just had a very interesting conversation that is noteworthy where people are getting confused, the white evangelicals, with making a broad stroke with all television ministries. And what we need to understand about the white secular, well, they're not secular, the evangelicals, is that they get a lot of oil money. So you're going to see the Kenneth Copelands and the Paula Whites acting a donkey about the election because they get oil money. So now that they just want abortion ended and they want their guns, they can push that narrative from the money that they receive from the oil companies. So that's why their messages don't look like secular television ministries. So, anybody can pick up the Bible and make the narrative support their ideals. But they are jumping up and down. Kenneth Copeland is standing in front, laughing really hard about the election, and he can sell that. It's because they are funded by oil money. And Paula White, too. And the bad thing about Paula is that we gave her platform, Black churches.
Wait a minute,
TD
Paula
Jakes.
White. Paula White is the bitch who said, I said what I said. The bitch who said about the African angels, right?
Right. She needed some African angels on this.
She still
And,
need them.
Right. And, she got her platform by way of
TD Jakes.
Yes. So, once again, religion has always been used as a weapon to control Black folks. So I just want to plant that seed to think and know for yourself. Quit looking for anybody who walks up with the Bible to tell you how to live your life for whatever you believe in. If it's the Bible, then you live it as close as you can to the 10 Commandments. Don't sit up and let somebody think for you, because at the end of the day, with the money that they're getting from the oil pack, they don't want brown, Black, and people that look like us to succeed or have opportunities. And so they can fund those churches to push their narrative. So everybody that says, listen to what I have to say because I have a Bible, how do you think Jim Jones got those people over there? When you let people know that you're desperate, that's the way they'll treat you.
And that's exactly what they find, TT Jan. They find people who weaken their soul and their system. See, to understand that the S on Superman's chest, and we have discussed this numerous times before, does not stand for a super person. It stands for save yourself. If you lost in the mazes of your mind, it's so easy for somebody to manipulate who you are and be gullible, which was what I was trying to explain to my 17-year-old daughter, because I'm not free from it in my own house. Even though I know I'm a monster in my house. But when the world get a hold of you, especially when you find it, they can find any weak spot, any empty space, a crack to get in, they get in and they control these people, man. A lot of these people are being mind controlled because they don't know who they are.
Yes.
It's really sad.
Yes, and I'm not going to spend the next 4 years trying to counter Trump, but we all have to be smarter about our choices. and don't let people walk up to you or preach whatever and change the narrative to support their own self-professing agenda. It's so important.
T.T.
That's the
Jan said,
reason.
T.T. Jan said, don't let nobody walk up to you with a Bible and control you. Now, don't let nobody stand on TV and hold the Bible upside down in front of a church that they ain't never been in either.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
they
that's
might lose
period.
the election.
That's period. That you see these people doing that the way we see young Black men and women wanting to be rappers, because rappers have glamorized that it's easy, it's fun. And don't get me wrong, I know it's a craft, but that's the reason these people are reaching out to you, because they're on TV. It looks like I'm so, in touch with God. And you see how he's blessed me with your money, with trains, planes, and radios. You want to be me. You believe me. You're going to sow into me. Just be smart. Let's not be caught like this again. Make your decisions based on facts that you know. Paula got up there making a fool of
She
herself,
did.
and
She
we
did.
and we seem to forget that she was slutting around with Benny Hinn. He went back to his wife. She has used herself, as in this Kenneth Copeland, who was standing in front of his congregation, standing there hee-hawking and laughing, talking about that Trump has really won. When you see people that are okay with making fools out of themselves and they're willing to gamble on themselves, they're getting some deals in their back pocket.
Well, we can't just blame the white preachers, though, T.T. Jan, because remember when Trump was
No,
the president, when he was
right.
the president, because he ain't now, all those black preachers that was in his office huddled up with him and talking about he was the only black president ever and woo. Where them niggas at? All them niggas didn't got ghosts. I think all of them done lost their church and it had nothing to do
No,
with the
one of
pandemic.
them died. One of them died from the COVID. And I'm not just saying that the white ministry. I'm saying when you see folks gambling and they're going on their platform, because a lot of those ministries or ministers that they had to come up with, for the black ones, they didn't even have churches, but they were willing to go pro-Trump because they were hoping that they could get some crumbs like Diamond and Rough or Diamond and Silk or Diamond or whatever.
Dumb and
They were
stupid. Dumb
willing
and
to
stupid. Yeah, dumb and stupid.
they were willing to compromise themselves for a level up. But what I'm saying to everyone is, when somebody you see is willing to gamble for that falsehood, they're getting a back payment. And that's for the black churches too, because as soon as they started tampering with the boxes in Texas, I was the first one to say, you have a lot of black mega churches in Texas. Why are they not doing mobile pools to get people to drop off their ballot? So
Woo!
it's not like I'm color shaming at all. I'll say it to all, because once you start raking in X amount of money, it turns into a corporation. And I have no beef about how you run your house of worship, because I know what dwells inside of me, and I don't have to get
Well,
confirmation from anybody.
that's in scripture, Jan. The Lord will not show up to a man-made temple. God does not show up at man-made temples. That's in the Bible. God
Oh
is
yeah,
wherever you are and wherever you think he is. That's where he is for
right,
you. For you. See, that's
right,
what people keep losing. Oh, I got to be in this part of this great church. I got to be on the deacon board and us. You don't
right.
have to be, and you could be in your bathroom in the shower, and that nigga right there with you, because and when I say that nigga, I'm not disrespecting the Lord. Whatever
No,
relationship you have with your God, that's on you and
yeah.
him. This is the relationship I have with that man who takes care of me. That's JC. That's my boy. And I will tell him, nigga, what you want me to do? Because I'm scared. I don't know what to do.
I want us to get proactive and not reactive. I just, I don't even want to talk about this idiot anymore. I want to see people being proactive in their lives, no more reactive. We had to hit the ground running when the pandemic, people running here trying to buy up all the toilet paper. Then the people who had to wait on payday, they couldn't buy no toilet paper. Be proactive in your household. Have you an emergency bank set aside, and it doesn't have to be hundreds and hundreds. Live within your means wisely.
You
That's
better
what I
use a
want us to do.
t-shirt. If you run out of
Well,
toilet, y'all ain't never used a t-shirt? Oh, I'm the only one. Oh.
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Teacher Jan, Teacher Jan, we can't get it like this unless you give it to us. We thank you though, Teacher Jan. Teacher Jan, you get in and you be right. I'm like, go Jan, go.
I love you guys more, and congratulations to both of you guys.
No, thank you for joining us, Jan. Always, y'all follow Waze Williams because she gives y'all the knowledge, the power, and the glory. Baby, Teacher Jan was going on and on. I said, come on, Jan, get it.
Came right in and laid it all out. And you and I
just
talked
made
about
a
this,
point
how
about something
being prepared. Saving and all that, because we were talking about there were several people who thought they had it, together, and then COVID hits and changes everything.
When the pandemic first hit, I told everybody, I acknowledge for everybody to go take money out the bank to have a cash stash in the house. Not all your money, but just in case of emergency, because we were so unsure. It was the unsurety, which it still is, of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know which way it's going because of government and the people at the top not telling us anything. My problem with Fauci was after the whole AIDS pandemic in the 80s, was this time when he was a part of Trump's team, which was so many others. Bolton, the only one out of the whole group that I would trust was Mary Trump, because she didn't have a vested interest in it. She wasn't part of the government. She was just the niece. Was that her name, Mary?
Yes.
She was just the niece. But all these book writers that came out after the fact, Cohen, the lawyer, Bolton. Don't wait. Don't throw the rock and hide your hand. If you knew it when it was happening, and it was happening to the American people, make us important.
Right.
Not color or race. Make us important as American people.
Right.
Since you pledged to be a certain part of service, and then y'all want to come out after the fact, and we supposed to believe y'all. When Fauci stood behind Trump, and Trump said some outrageous shit. I couldn't tell you what day, because he said some outrageous shit every day. Right. And Fauci put his hand down laughing as if, I'm listening to this lie, and I'm going to let this lie flow because you spoke after him. You were supposed to step to the mic and said, nigga, you lying. This ain't how it's going. You putting these people's lives in danger.
Flame, what do you do, though, in that situation? Seriously, do you really do that? I see you, but I guess...
He asked the wrong bitch, y'all, because you know what I would have did.
Because I do think that there's a certain level of respect and decorum. That's what the chain of command is all
about. From whom? See, there you go.
Yeah.
That's respect came from President Barack Obama. So you would have given him that respect. Think about who was speaking.
Right.
So I'm going to respect the way you make me feel. Trump ain't never made nobody feel respected, not even his own fucking wife. I know Melania can't wait. Melania, tell that nigga in Slovakia and then he lost so he can roll the fuck up out, please. I'm just saying, Because in every language, nigga, you lost. Every language.
Every language.
I don't even speak but one, maybe two, like Ebonics. But in every language, nigga, you lose. Boom.
It's tough because I do think that there's a situation where so many people were caught off guard with COVID-19 and what to do and how to react. Were they prepared? I watched a great interview on The Breakfast Club. Shout out to The Breakfast Club with Chris Rock. Chris Rock was talking about how he had to adjust his own. Chris Rock is a millionaire, but he wasn't prepared for not working for an entire year and what it would mean. So he said that he made some different financial decisions, that everyone needed to be prepared. And I think that it was such a shift for people to do things differently who had what they consider responsible jobs, regular revenue streams that were disrupted because of a pandemic.
I think that goes back to what Jan said about putting away some money, and we'll see. So the difference would be like with a Chris Rock or a D.L. Hughley, you have this huge lifestyle that runs like a machine, and you're spending $60,000 a month in bills. It's not talking about personal money, just in bills, because you're making $1 million every 3 months. But then when that's cut off, your lifestyle, you don't want your lifestyle to change. Mm-hmm. So if you're not ready for that, you're going to either have to alter some things, cut back, or you're going to have to find some other method of means to continuously live this particular lifestyle, which I can't even see you living that same lifestyle right now because you can't even go anywhere. You can't do anything. And Zoom comedy just, to me, I don't like the Zoom comedy. There's no instant gratification. I need the energy of the people.
I think that's why even talking about Laugh and Learn for me had been difficult with some people because I am acutely aware that there are a number of people who are suffering. And then for you and I, people are like, oh, wow, this happened so quickly. People don't see the work that goes into everything behind the scenes. So when this happened, and I wanted to scream from the rooftops, jump all over the place, but you want to be respectful of other people who may not have had an opportunity at the same time because this has been such a difficult year for so many people. How do you responsibly, and I guess this is one of the questions I throw out there to the Flamettes as well, how do you responsibly celebrate your own successes when you're in the midst of what is clearly a traumatic moment for so many people.
You surround your people that celebrate your joy because you will celebrate theirs. So if somebody is angry with you for getting a blessing, that ain't got shit to do with you. That don't have nothing to do with me. I'm not going to rub it in your face like I'm gloating, but it's okay for you to be happy for you because somebody else might not be that happy for you. That's okay. I experienced that with They Ready. I lost 3 or 4 friends after They Ready. So I experienced that. I can't make you happy for me. If you upset, and because people want to see you do well, just not better than them. Just not better than them.
Speak on that, Flame.
It's the truth. People want my friends have been around me, and when we were tight and struggling, oh, Flame, it's going to be okay. One day you're going to make it. One day you're going to get your break. And then I got a break. And then y'all broke away. It's like that old fable. Who gonna help me bake the bread? You getting all the flour and the wheat and the sugar and shit.
Oh, not
to bake
I,
the bread.
not I. I'm too
nobody.
busy.
I'm too busy. I got some. Then when the bread all baked and you got butter and good butter and shit on it, the real butter, all that good shit is smelling all good. Oh, I want my piece. No, bitch, I'm not sharing with you. You didn't help me.
I'm not sure that's exactly how that nursery
But
rhyme goes.
you know what the fuck I'm talking about, shit. So yeah, so everybody is not going to celebrate you, and it's okay. And people lose sight of that. Oh, you bragging, you gloating, No, I've been in the game for 30 years. 30. Some people get in the game, be 2 years and get a break. 30. So I was supposed to celebrate me, and you're supposed to be happy for you. That's not discrediting what somebody else did.
Right.
You always hustle. You were on TV long before you won a fucking Emmy. I didn't win. I lost to Eddie Murphy. Eddie, don't do that. Don't do that. I lost to Eddie Murphy, but who to lose to? How great is that? So you can't. That's other people's stuff. People take in stuff differently, and I talk to y'all about this all the time. What you put in your psyche and your DNA stays in your psyche and DNA. If you can avoid some shit, avoid it.
So close us out there. Talk to us. What's your final thought for today?
Final thought for today is, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the midst of a life-altering, life-killing pandemic. People are dying in droves. I can't tell nobody what to do. You're grown, but you need to be more responsible. That's the first law of being an adult, is to be responsible. Please wear your mask. Please practice social distance. It's not a statement. It's not a political fight. You're saving not only your life, but generations of lives, probably in your own home, because you're going to take it and give it to somebody. The loneliness of dying with the pandemic, with COVID-19, is terrible, because if you go to the hospital, nobody can come see you. Practice social distance and wear your mask. Please use your Lysol. I believe in it. I believe in using my Lysol. I spray everybody. And I just want people that this will be over. I don't know when or how long, but it will be over. So we need to be here to see the sunshine on the day after the COVID is fixed. You take a vaccine if you want to. I'm not suggesting that you do or you don't. I'm not. I wouldn't give a damn who bring. Baby, it need to be Jesus and all 12 disciples to bring it to me. All them 12 disciples was gangsters, so I might trust them, because them niggas was robbers, murderers, killers, rapists, couple of
Pimps.
petties. It was a tranny up in there. One of them disciples was a tranny. Somebody dressed in drag. I'm just saying, in biblical days, they still got it in.
And where can we find you on social media?
You can find me at Monroe Flame, which is right here on Instagram. I'm Flame_Monroe on Twitter, and I am the whole name, Marcus Flame Monroe Parker. Y'all sending checks in that name, Marcus Flame Monroe Parker on Facebook. Yeah,
I think we covered that. He, she, we.
He, she, we bookings. Yeah, that's another show.
I love that. And you can find me at Nick Smith News on all social media platforms, at Nick Smith News. Thanks so much, you guys, for following, joining in. We expect you to continue to sound off, and we will see you right back here every week.